A third day of Platinum Jubilee celebrations culminates here at Buckingham Palace with a star-studded concert attended by 22,000 people, along with members of the royal family. Rock stars, including Sir Rod Stewart, wowed the crowds already full of Jubilee spirit. And Prince Charles gave a moving tribute to his mother for her 70 years of service.
You continue to make history. You laugh and cry with us. And most importantly, you have been there for us for these 70 years.
Tens of thousands queued for hours on the Mall to watch the event on giant screens.
Brilliant! God save the Queen, my goodness, what an amazing experience!
It's a
amazing
place to be right now.
Perhaps you would like a marmalade sandwich. I always keep one for emergencies.
So do I. I keep mine in here.
Good evening from Buckingham Palace, where there has been excitement, celebration and adulation as the nation continues to mark Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. For the last 2.5 hours, a huge crowd has thrilled to a massive open-air concert, which saw musical legends including Queen, Diana Ross and Sir Rod Stewart perform. 22,000 people had gathered here to watch the party at the palace. Prince Charles and Prince William also gave speeches paying tribute to the Queen for her enduring service. Here's our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell.
After the ceremonial and the spiritual, it was time for a Jubilee party. They'd taken their seats in the royal box, tens of thousands had packed the Mall, and first on stage, who else but Queen and Brian May. The BBC concert had begun, believed it. This is a monarch who still enjoys springing a surprise. Outside, the concert was getting into full swing. There was music and the waving of Union flags. Some waved with rather more vigour than others, it must be said. And as the day gave way to night, the focus shifted. Prince William spoke of the need to protect the planet.
My own grandmother has been alive for nearly a century. Today, in 2022, as the Queen celebrates her Platinum Jubilee, the pressing need to protect and restore our planet has never been more urgent.
And the Prince of Wales spoke movingly of his mother's dedication over 70 years.
You have met us and talked with us. You laugh and cry with us. And most importantly, you have been there for us for these 70 years. You pledged to serve your whole life. You continue to deliver. That is why we are here. That is what we celebrate tonight. These pictures on your house are the story of your life and ours. So, Your Majesty, that is why we all say thank you.
The crowd gave 3 cheers. It had been an evening of many emotions. The main ones were respect and gratitude.
Nick joins me now. Nick, what a night, what a spectacle.
What really an extraordinary evening, full of so many different emotions. Humour, that really quite astonishing sequence of Paddington Bear with the Queen, the marmalade sandwiches in the handbag. You got the impression that she really enjoyed taking part in that. There was the optimism from Prince William in his speech about the planet, but most of all, there was respect, reverence and deep, deep affection. That came through throughout the evening very, very strongly, and particularly, of course, I thought, in the touching speech from the Prince of Wales, speaking about his mother, speaking about a queen with us in difficult times and at moments of pride and joy. Yes, an extraordinary evening. People are streaming home now. OK, these are enthusiasts who turned out outside Buckingham Palace and in the Mall, but I believe that they have felt and expressed emotions which tonight will have been shared by many millions of people around the country.
Nick, thank you very much. Nicholas Witchell there. Well, people thronged to the Mall and the areas around Buckingham Palace for tonight's concert, with many queuing for hours to get a glimpse of the stars and to share in the heady atmosphere. Our entertainment correspondent Stefan Powell reports.
The excitement was building all afternoon.
I don't think we live through another Platinum Jubilee with another monarch. I don't think so. So I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm really pleased to be here.
What a better way to bring people together by music from different generations.
Gorgeous day, bank holiday weekend. It's amazing.
It's electric. Everyone's really excited. Everyone's in a really good mood. It's nice.
After 2 years of what we've all been through, I think it's magical, to be honest.
Not many people in the world could get the likes of Duran Duran, Sir Rod Stewart and Diana Ross to share the same stage on the same night. It's a testament to how well admired and respected the Queen is across the world. This is a lineup that music festival bosses would die for, and don't take my word for it. This party at the Palace has been designed to appeal to Her Majesty's supporters of all ages.
Everybody's just so happy to be here, happy to be celebrating Her Majesty the Queen, and definitely I felt the energy when I was on stage that it was just all about happiness and celebration.
And away from the more formal, traditional celebrations for the Jubilee, it's been an opportunity for people to let their hair down. From key workers given tickets for their contribution during the pandemic, to royalty itself. This was a night that the 22,000 with tickets and the crowd watching along the Mall won't forget in a hurry. It hasn't happened before and may not happen again.
This girl is on fire.
Stefan Powell, BBC News.
Some of the day's other news now. Ukraine says that Russian forces have blown up bridges on a river near the key eastern city of Severodonetsk to stop reinforcements from coming in. The city is the main focus of Russia's current offensive in the Donbas region. Kiev says it's recaptured part of the territory that was lost to Russian forces, but Russia claims that several Ukrainian units are retreating. Thousands of passengers trying to return to the UK at the end of the half-term holidays have been facing delays and cancellations. EasyJet says it's had to cancel more than 30 flights at short notice today. The airline says one of the reasons for the problems is a shortage of air traffic control staff at Gatwick. Ferry passengers in Calais have also been experiencing long waits. One of Britain's most acclaimed artists, the sculptor Sir Anthony Gormley, who created the Angel of the North, is to become a German citizen. Sir Anthony said he was giving up his British passport because of the UK's decision to leave the European Union. He described the move as embarrassing and said he has plans for new sculptures that reflect this view. Time for all the sport now. Here's Ollie Foster at the BBC Sports Centre. Ollie.
Many thanks, Rita. England's cricketers have given themselves every chance of winning the first test against New Zealand. With 2 more days left to play, they require 61 runs for victory. The Kiwis need 5 wickets. Our sports correspondent Joe Wilson was at Lord's today.
Stuart Broad urged England to believe, and then he made things happen. That was Daryl Mitchell dismissed for 108, and suddenly wickets seemed to be falling with every delivery. Actually, they were. Broad on one of his charges. And soon, New Zealand were 285 all out, which meant if England could score 277 in their second innings, they'd win. if. Here are three England batters: Alex Lees, Ollie Pope, and then Johnny Bairstow clattered. New Zealand's bowlers were too good. Ben Stokes had made one when this happened, and then this was spotted. Colin de Gronholm overstepped. No ball. Captain, you're back in. So could Stokes make the most of his reprieve? England were depending on him, and he was delivering. But here comes a ball he could not avoid. Caught for 54 and this time definitely out. But what about the former captain? Crucially for England, Joe Root is 77 not out. 5 down and 61 to win. With Root, England sure have hope. Joe Wilson, BBC News, Lords.
Iga Swiatek has won the French Open for a second time. The world #1 breezed past the American teenager Coco Gauff in straight sets in the final. The 20-year-old from Poland has now won 6 tournaments in a row and is unbeaten in 35 matches. A winning run last achieved by Venus Williams 22 years ago. England's footballers have lost their opening Nations League match against Hungary 1-0. The match in Budapest was supposed to be played in an empty stadium, punishment for a number of racist incidents involving the host's fans. But there were over 30,000 there. Patrick Geary reports.
A stadium neither as full nor as empty as it might have been. As a punishment for racist abuse, this game was ordered to be played behind closed doors. As an exception, Hungarian school children were allowed in, accompanied by adults. And when England took the knee, some booing. For England, on a hot day after a long season, this would be a personality test. Defender Conor Cody is clearly good in a crisis.
Highly effective defending.
He saved them here. In truth, we learned little else for some time. Bukayo Saka flickered and flashed, but it was a rare spark. The game drifted drowsily until suddenly an alarm. Hungary penalty. Dominic Szoboszlai, his nation's star, with his nation's chance. One for the kids. England seemed tired and Hungary had an appetite for more. This could and should have been 2-0. A miss England couldn't make them regret. Though Harry Kane came close, they'd been second best in Budapest. Patrick Geary, BBC News.
We've had the final day of the regular season in the Rugby Union Premiership and Northampton Saints have secured a place in the playoffs. They ran in 10 tries. Tommy Freeman with a hat-trick, beating Newcastle 65 points to 26. They'll play table toppers Leicester in the semi-finals. Saracens will face Harlequins. Well, Glasgow and Edinburgh were both beaten today and miss out on the semi-finals in the United Rugby Championship. They'll be between Leinster and the Bulls. Ulster will face the Stormers. All the details of those matches are on the BBC Sport website. But that's all for now. Reeta.
Ollie, thank you. The derby at Epsom has been won by Desert Crown, ridden by Richard Kingscote. The Queen had been due to attend this major fixture in the horse racing calendar, but she pulled out yesterday. We're told she watched it on television from Windsor. Our sports correspondent Laura Scott sent this report.
It's the jewel in the crown of the flat racing calendar and one of the Queen's favourite days of the year. But whilst Her Majesty was absent from the derby for just the 5th time in her long reign, there were plenty of nods to her Platinum Jubilee at Epsom, where she was represented by Princess Anne.
Would you like another one?
The Queen's love of horses is well known. This footage, filmed in April at the Royal Stud in Sandringham, a clear example. Today's tributes to her included a parade of some of her retired racehorses and a guard of honour of 40 jockeys who have ridden for her.
I mean, she's been breeding horses for over 60 years and she knows all the bloodlines and as you know, she's won lots of races and yes, she knows, very knowledgeable.
Well, Buckingham Palace said Her Majesty would be watching the action from Windsor Castle on television, and she was sent a copy of the race card so she could keep a close eye on all the runners and riders. And in the Derby, the big race itself, there are a curious number of regally named horses. We have changing of the guard, royal patronage, and the favourite in the race, Desert Crown. And Desert Crown justified favouritism, coming home a convincing winner to reign supreme. Although the Queen wasn't here to witness it, the carnival atmosphere of Derby Day embraced the celebrations of this Platinum Jubilee weekend. Laura Scott, BBC News, Epsom.
And it's been a raucous and jubilant night here outside Buckingham Palace, with the crowds thrilling to the musical acts old and new, and everyone whooping with loud cheers and affection for the two princes, Charles and William. It has been a spectacle that everyone watching will remember for many years to come. Well, you can see more on all of today's stories on the BBC News channel. That is all from me and the team here at Buckingham Palace. Have a very good night. Bye-bye.